Welcome to That's My Biz, the Internet Business Showcase, where we bring exposure to products, services, and special causes of local businesses and organizations. Thank you so much for joining us. We are coming to you live from the BizLinks TV studio. Brought to you by Visual Marketing Mentors, LLC. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of That's My Biz. I am Pamela Alexander and so excited to bring to you another wonderful guest. As you know, we always love highlighting businesses that we're meeting when we're out and about networking, also nonprofits, so that they have opportunity to also share their cause. But we have a special guest for you here today, Mr. Michael Mahue Moore. Welcome, Michael.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Now, Michael is the owner of Mahue Catering.
Mahue's Catering.
Mahue's Catering, and he's an entrepreneur, enjoys cooking, and we want to really get into all of that and what all that means, and some exciting news that always goes along with it as well. But Michael, the first thing I want to start with is just tell everyone how you got into cooking in the first place.
Well, really, it's not a from the heart, I love my mommy, help my mommy cook story. It happened when I was in college and went to SCAD in Savannah. And first time I saw an HBCU band marching, I lost my mind. Mm-hmm. I followed them all the way to Savannah State, right? And so, because the girls were just so beautiful, mm-hmm. So I followed them. And we had just got into our house and what have you. We like 6 people to a house, brand new house, everything. We had food. We learned we could get food stamps at 18 years old. So we did half liquor and half food.
College, okay.
So anyway, we got to the game and whatever. It's like a homecoming, and me and a friend of mine, we met 2 girls, and we were talking, and they said they were hungry after about hour or two. Mm-hmm. So we got food at the house. He said, well, if you all can cook, we'll come home with you. And so it was like, okay, it's that easy in the South. Okay, all right. And so we went and we took them home. We took them home, and so we asked them what they wanted. They said chicken. So we went in the refrigerator and I was talking to him in the kitchen. They were in there watching television. I was like, well, what do we do? Mm-hmm. He said, well, he said, I remember my mom would take this lard and put it in a skillet. So we had this cast iron skillet, and he put it in there, and the lard melted, and the grease came all the way up to the top. I said, so what do you do? He said, hey, they used this flour. Remember we bought that flour? He said, yeah. I said, well, let's put it in that flour and put some salt on it. But it was still frozen, right? So here's this hot grease, and so we put that thing in there, and it just started popping everywhere, right? We looking, he's like, and all of a sudden we heard, ta-doom. The girls had left.
The door closed, right?
So we were sitting there watching this meat burn up. It was turning black, and he was scared to go take it off, and I was scared to go take it off because it was still popping, And from that day forward, I decided I like girls. Mm-hmm. They like to eat. Mm-hmm. I better learn how to cook.
Smart man.
And what was interesting, I sat down that next day after we cleaned up all the mess. And even though I walked through the house when my mother would be cooking on holidays and on, in the evenings and what have you, I've never studied for a test because I had a photographic memory. Mm-hmm. And so I actually sat down and I could watch her and making my sister go in the kitchen, and they would roll up the collard greens, right? And I'm like, what are they rolling them up for? And they would chop them up, and I would watch her cut the yams up. And she'd be sitting at the stove stirring, and my mother had a large behind, and you'd just be shaking while she's stirring, She'd make her own barbecue sauce, and she'd go outside and cook, and I would watch her do that. Mm-hmm. She would make me start the fire. At least I knew how to start a fire. Mm-hmm. So anyway, that's how it began. Mm-hmm. And so I remembered everything that they did, but then in my travels, as I went through the service and, worked for the State Department, I would go abroad. Mm-hmm. And each time I would go to the villages and befriend the villagers, especially the large women of the village. Mm-hmm. And then I would watch them cook. I watched them cook boar and red rice and chicken kelaguen over in the Philippines. I would watch them cook ribs, how they do all of the marinating processes. And so I incorporate all of that in my food.
Mm-hmm. That's fantastic. So now, with that, because you had such a variety of experience,
Yes.
a fun way to get started
Yeah.
into it, but it sounds like you really uncovered a gift that you had in all of that, and especially once you got out and learned about a lot of other cuisines. Do you have any specialty cuisines that you focus on?
Well, yes. I would like to add, I'm an artist, and so, and I'm a hopeless romantic.
Okay.
So everything I do is about love and intensity, and I take all of that and I put it in my food, I put it in my paintings, I put it in my everything that I do is I'm making love to whatever it is I'm doing. And so some of my specialties, I do a blue grits with panko breadcrumb fried shrimp with a fire roasted bell pepper, spinach, Roma tomatoes, shiitake mushrooms, and all that goes over the grits.
Okay.
And so people are intrigued anyway because the grits are blue. They have
Right.
never eaten blue grits,
Right.
but they come from Carolina.
Okay.
They're a corn grit, but it's just blue.
Okay.
And so when you get the plate in front of you, it's interesting. It's not like eating a Smurf, but it's real good. So, and then another favorite I have is Lobster Mac and Cheese. I do it a
Okay.
little different. I do only white cheeses, breadcrumbs, and I do lobster sauteed with some onions and some other ingredients,
Right.
and then I'll incorporate it in my pasta.
Okay. Okay.
And so you got 7 different cheeses in your mouth, and it's a nice palatial explosion. Yeah.
Well, you all know while I'm sitting here doing the interview, I'm just wondering why Michael didn't come to the studio with some samples because it's all sounding delicious. I must say. So now tell me, sounds some wonderful dishes. Now, and you do catering.
Yes.
So tell me about the types of catering that you do. Who are kind of the target clients that you have?
Well, I do weddings. I'll do whatever your theme is. They want at a wedding. I'll do weddings. I'll do up to 150 people.
Okay.
Heather Hawes does all my event designs.
Okay.
So she does all of that stuff for me at Hawes Development. And then I do personal cooking.
Okay.
I'll come to your home and cook for you. I'll cook for groups up to 150.
Okay.
So that's pretty much it.
Okay. So now, on the personal cooking side, because I know we all understand the catering and the doing events and all of that. On the personal cooking side, what does that look like? Is that just kind of a one time, or do you do ongoing meals for individuals, or what?
Well, if you have some people, they want you cooking there every day. They want you cooking 2 or 3 meals a day. I won't do in-house, just
Okay.
I'm your personal chef every day,
Right.
cooking breakfast,
Okay.
lunch, and dinner. No, I'll
Right.
come in for events.
Okay.
I'll come and do a dinner
Okay.
because I have other people that I cook for also.
Okay, okay, fantastic. Now you all know I'm just trying to lead them into,
right,
just
man.
coming and giving us a week of meals or something like that.
No,
So,
I could do that. If
okay,
you want me to cook and you want a week's worth of food, I don't have a problem doing it.
okay, because
I'll
that's
cook
more of a
and-
kind of a one time, not just a
Right.
there every single day type job.
And I like to do it in the sense where I teach you how to store it.
Okay,
I teach you how to properly store it in the freezer and freeze it.
Okay.
And then the fact of the matter, like people use the microwave. Well, I hate microwave cooking. However, I will use a microwave to re-steam the food.
okay,
And that's how you get it to come back to its original self. Otherwise, that microwave cooks from the inside out,
right.
and you got garbage.
right.
But if you use that steam, use the bag as a steamer. Put some air into it,
Okay.
then steam it. It'll come out okay.
Okay, fantastic. So now you mentioned the education and also teaching individuals about their food, whether it be preparing it or reheating it. That segues me right into the fact that you're about to start a cooking show.
Yes.
So tell
yes.
everyone about that. It has a very unique premise, I think. Share a little bit about that with everyone.
Well, I know a lot of women, like when I'm out with, Heather and we hanging out and we're talking about cooking. And there's a lot of women that say, well, I wish my husband could cook. I wish and so I always wanted to target that individual
Okay.
or, what that guy that calls himself the player.
Okay.
You do all this work. You get this woman to come home or marry you. And then she get up in the morning and you go out to eat or you eating cornflakes.
Okay.
I say if I was to do a show, it would be entitled, Now That You Have Her, Now What? You convince her to come home, so let me teach you how to
Okay.
keep her.
Okay.
So I want to teach you how to keep her. And they say the way to a man's stomach, way to a man's heart is through his stomach. That's a lie.
Oh.
It's a woman. The way to a woman's heart is through her stomach. So if you can cook, and so what I want to do is, I want to like teach the gentlemen or the men in their own little kitchen, and utilizing what they have. Even if their grill is broken down, we'll teach you how to patch it up until you can get another one. And we'll teach you how to make that woman smile, how to keep that woman happy, how to make her not be that person in the fast lane driving 5 miles an hour because you don't want to come home.
Right.
No, you want her to be in the middle trying to get home to you because she know you done cook something nice.
That's fantastic. So it
Yeah.
sounds like it's not even just
So-
a cooking show. It sounds like a relationship
is.
show that we can tie on
It
in there
is.
as well.
Yes.
So ladies, for those of you that thought it was all about diamonds, now that you know it's about the food, and I must give a shout out because I'm very fortunate that I have a husband that cooks. So
he gets to
so
stay,
that
huh?
might have a good point. Yes, he gets to stay. So you may have a point there. I'm going to do some soul searching on this one.
Yes.
But so now with the show, we're going to do it in locations, and you're going to do it in the in someone's home and teach them how to cook. What are some of the specialties that maybe single men that don't know how to cook yet should start with?
Well, because it's the morning, we're going to do an omelet.
Okay.
We're gonna do a vegetable omelet. Let's say, for instance, we'll do a little Roma tomatoes, some spinach. If they like mushrooms, we'll throw those in.
Okay.
We may even take a little, meat from last night's dinner. Could be some of the chicken, and we'll chop that up.
Okay.
And then we'll saute all of that first in a little olive oil and a little butter to give it a little taste. And then we'll take an egg, and I'll teach most people, they go in there like their mamas used to do and just be staring that egg up and
Making it look good.
And the
Right.
thing is what you're doing is you're whipping that egg, the air into the egg. Well, you don't need to do that when you don't have a whole bunch of kids. See, mama was trying to stretch them eggs.
Okay.
Yeah, so they make them puffy.
Okay.
Right? But when it's just you, just break the egg. You just want to break the yolks. Move it around just a little, and that's it. And so then after you take the ingredients out, I'll teach you to put them on a plate,
Okay.
and you put the egg in. And the control is you tell the egg when it's cooking. Most people just leave it in there and let it cook. No. You want to move it around and let it cook. You make love to the egg while you're doing it. You just take your time and move it around until it's all done. Then I teach you how to do the wrist action and flip it over.
all right.
And so then we take the ingredients and we put it in one part of the skillet, put a little cheese on it. And I teach them how to easily flip it over. And so once it's cooking a little bit, I tell them to take it out of the skillet. Now what we want to do now, we've got the egg looking nice. We don't want to make it brown. And so what we do at that point is we put it in the microwave so it can melt the cheese. So once it melts the cheese, it's good.
Okay.
And so it's little intimate stuff like that,
Okay.
from knife work
Right.
to how to properly cut the onion up so that it all cooks evenly. I'll teach them all of that stuff. And before you do anything, you have to learn how to use your knife. Most people just try to chop at it or
Right.
try to see what they saw on television. Well, if you massage your food, you front to back, you still get that nice little edge, that
Okay.
nice little cut. You can do it nicely without cutting yourself.
Okay.
I teach them a lot of knife work. And so that makes it work in the
That's
kitchen.
fantastic. Now, so ladies and gentlemen, we want you to stay tuned to BizLinks TV network because this is going to be exciting. It's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of great information, so a lot of learning as well. And you can already go ahead and take this episode and send it out to your friends because I think you already got some good skills. There's a few people that are going to be working on some omelets tomorrow, I think, just with this knowledge that you have already shared with them. So we're definitely going to be looking forward to the show and learning more. I think you'll have many females following you as you'll have men following you because the
welcome it.
skills and the tips that you have
Please come.
are going to be great, I think. So now, and in talking about that, let's talk about the ingredients, because now what are you going to do when you have that kind of stereotypical bachelor refrigerator that you might get to that doesn't have quite all the ingredients in it that you need? You're going to work with just what's in there.
Well, they see that's where I would like to take them on a field trip.
Okay.
And I'd like to take them on a field trip to the Cab Farmers Market, right? And that place, I like lost my mind when I went in that place, man. And then they have bags of seasonings. But then I also would, encourage them to grow their own oregano, and there's nothing like fresh products, and that's what I like. I don't like the dried oregano. I don't like that at all, really. And most people don't realize when you're using the dried oregano, you have to actually put the lid on it and steam it. Otherwise, it's going to be, you're going to taste it, and it's just going to be just what it is. What is this? And so even like when you're doing pastas and what have you, and you throw a little oregano in there, how about getting that fresh leaf? And because my mother used to say stuff like, no, you don't get that, that's for company.
Okay.
And I don't believe that concept.
Right.
I'm good enough.
Right.
And when I look at the company that would be sitting on it, I'm like, ain't
That's
we
right.
ain't better than that.
That's right.
So if I like you, I'm going to give you something fresh. I'm not going to say, well, I'm going to give you this cardboard pizza. For what? When I can simply take some flour and some water, a little yeast, some baking powder, a little salt, put it in a blender, and I got bread.
Wow. Don't you love how he makes it sound so easy?
But I'm saying I got bread,
easy.
So you roll bread out, and so now you got dough, and then you can put whatever you want on that pizza. What I like to do is let them tear it off in different ways. In America, we're the one did the circle.
Okay.
If you go to Greece, where pizza started, they just tear off what was scraps was left. That's how pizza became. It was just what else was left in the kitchen after Mama baked bread. So this stuff was left. Well, just put a little sauce on it and put some meat on it and some cheese on it, and that was pizza. And that's the stuff we're paying big money for. When in all actuality, you can do that at home with just a little, all you need is a stone. You put the pizza stone in the oven and heat it up, and you put the bread on the stone, and you got pizza.
Wow. And so because, we hear the passion come through of the food and the cooking and putting your heart into it, so we can already tell that you're not a big proponent of kind of the quick and easy, but are you also teaching them how it can be quick and easy, but still the freshness and not the kind of prepackaged things?
Well, sometimes there's cases when you just need prepackaged, but if it's in a can, you're not coming in my house. You can't come in here with a can, which is why I have issues with the food drives. They want the food in the can. Do you know that with in regulation, FDA regulations, you can have, it's okay to have up to 22 maggots in a can of green beans. I mean, come on. You're giving it to your kids, right? You don't like your kids. And so I'd rather get green beans and get everybody in the kitchen, get them more oriented, and show them how to cook fresh. And so, there's no, we're looking at Velveeta. A lot of people use Velveeta. And then they waddle out of here wondering what's going on. Well, you use some plastic cheese. Your heart, you know how your heart had to work to get that? Well, your kidneys have to work hard in order to process this processed stuff. So why not use all the wonderful cheeses that are out there? You just go to a place that has cheese and sample them.
Wow. So some good information in store. I'm really excited about the show and having that come on. Now, before we close, we want to tell everyone how to get in touch with you, but Michael has a lot of skills, and as he mentioned earlier, he's also an artist, he's also an author, and you're going to be blending some of that into your show as well.
Well, what I want to do, in my mind, and then I'm not the director, I don't mind, but the way I saw it, I got this friend named Earl who sings his face off. And I got a friend named Richard who plays a flute. So they'll be playing in the background. My art will be the background. right? When we're not looking at the stove. And then I'll be cooking.
Okay.
And then at the end, there will be a woman that comes to eat.
Okay.
And then what I just prepared, she'll sit down and she'll eat.
Okay.
And then she'll tell them how the food was.
Exactly.
Because you got to taste your food.
That's right.
And so why not have the person that stayed or who I'm trying to keep
Yes.
sit down and eat? And so that's what I was kind of looking at, how that would go. But, and of course I would have my book propped up somewhere. Yeah, I wrote a book entitled The Danger of the Malehead Being Out of Place in the Home.
Okay.
And thank God for Plan B, because Plan A didn't work. And I have 9 other, I got 8 other books.
Okay.
But those are what I move to the crowds mostly, and because it's all about family, and this cooking is all about keeping the relationship together. Through cooking, you can heal an entire family. You can bring them together, keep them together.
Right.
And if your wife got big hips, it's because you did it. If you got big hips, it's because
Okay, you all can tell this is going to be an interesting show. We're going to learn a lot. We're going to enjoy. You're going to want to be able to smell straight through your TV. And we think you will be able to literally do that just the way that Michael spins the stories and shares it. And I can tell, I can smell it cooking in here already. So we're going to head out so that we can get some of that good cooking from Mahue's Catering. Michael, tell everyone how they can get in touch with you.
Well, I'm on, thanks to Heather Hawes, I'm on Facebook at Mahue's Catering. And let's just stay there for now. And, and then you can reach me at 678-724-0801. And we can go from there.
Fantastic, everyone. This is Pam Alexander with That's My Biz. We're having a wonderful time here bringing these great guests to you. We hope that you are enjoying it. Again, continue to watch us online at bizlinks.tv. You can also check us out on our YouTube channel. That's also BizLinks TV. Keep an eye out for us on Roku and BizLinks TV channel network. And until then, you can also find these shows on the Her2 network on Roku Box. And Michael, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Yes.
Great information. Everyone, keep an eye out for the new show that's coming out. It's going to be some great information, some great fun, a lot of great learning. Until next time, remember, we want to expose your business to the world. Thank you for joining us. Today's show can be viewed on demand on our website at www.bizlinks.tv. If you are interested in having your products, services, or special cause showcased on our program, submit an inquiry to that'smybiz@bizlinks.tv. In addition, information on advertising and hosting your own show can be found on our website at bizlinks.tv.